Once again, one of our regulars on this show. He's a ludicrous liberal jerk. This guy has the audacity to come on my show and call our great president a racist. And all because he vetoed civil rights legislation. Here he is, this idiot Mike Hubbell.
I'm here. Hey, Wally, first of all, before this thing gets out of here, I'd like to congratulate you for your new contract, your new ratings, and everything else. I just hope you told all these individuals out here the total truth about the fact that your ratings have gone up mainly because of my sole appearances on this show.
I have news for you. Hold on. I have news for you, nerd.
What's the news, Wally? What's the news? I want to hear the news.
The big news is we checked the weeks that you were on, and my ratings went down.
Yeah. Well, also with the civil rights bill.
And you know why? Because you bore everybody to death. Right?
Well, no more than these guys do.
Let's get down to facts here.
This civil rights bill, Wally, which includes a mandatory quota hiring for minorities, by looking at your audience, I'd like to say one thing on behalf of you guys in all fairness. This bill should also include the quota hiring for the mentally disturbed. So we have them right here. Guys, what kind of circus is it? What kind of circus are you running here, Wally?
Speak about mentally disturbed. This guy belongs in a straitjacket. Now, wait a minute. You have the audacity to come on this program and say that President George Bush is guilty of racism because he vetoed that ridiculous civil rights bill. Let me tell you, pal, the reason the president vetoed that was very, very clear. He explained it to the American people, but you and your pal Teddy Kennedy don't understand. You see, what President Bush says, if he had signed this civil rights legislation, that would have brought to America a quota system. And I do not believe, and neither does the president, that someone should be hired because of his race or his sex or his religion. It should be because he or she is best qualified for that
job. Well, that's ridiculous. There's no reason in the world. George Bush is finally showing his true colors, just like Ronald Reagan, your good buddy.
He's a real American.
With his domestic policies involving discrimination against the poor minority. You guys are always assuming the worst case scenario here. Minorities are not going to be hired just because they are a minority, color of skin, or ethnic background, or whatever the case may be. If they are evenly qualified, why reject them because they are a minority?
I'm saying if they are as qualified or best qualified, but I'm telling you, in the job hiring system, in hiring and promotion, sometimes if this bill was signed, it would make certain people of certain colors, certain sexes, certain religions, whatever, they would have to be hired or promoted first ahead of a Caucasian. Now, I say that is unfair and un-American. I say if a person is going to be hired for a job, I don't care what color he or she may be. I don't care what his religion may be. But I say if he's going to be hired for a job, or she is, or promoted, it should only be because they are justified and they're the best qualified. Now,
that's totally
why do you think that a person should be hired? Say a man comes in and a Caucasian and an Oriental or whatever happens to come in, and the quota system is underway, and this business does not have enough of a certain race or certain amount of women or gays or whatever it may be. Now, the straight Caucasian is by far the best qualified for the job, by far. And in second place is a minority. And the only reason the minority is hired is because the employer has to fill out a quota. And is that American? No! How can you justify that?
The Civil Rights Bill is geared to provide and keep the big businesses in the United States of America in check. George Bush is selling out just like Reagan did to the big corporations that put him in power. These corporations...
Oh, come on.
You know something? You guys, all of you would have made Ringling Brothers very proud, let me tell you. You're all a bunch of animals.
Don't get smart. Just don't get
I want to
smart,
say,
idiot.
Wally, let me say, George Bush is following in the treacherous footsteps of Andrew Johnson, who was the only United States president in history to refuse to sign a civil rights bill. Andrew Johnson was, in fact, impeached, the only president to be impeached. Now, you may remember the Andrew Johnson administration. This was about 1920.
Yes.
You were in your early 30s about that time anyway.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you're very familiar with the administration.
Wait a minute. What President Bush has said and what President Reagan has said, what President Nixon has said, President Ford, right on down the line, have said that businesses, employers should not be forced to hire minorities just to fill a quota system. That's unfair. Why are you in favor? Why are you in favor of a quota system in the job market, in hiring and promotion? Why do you think? Why is it fair? What makes it fair in America to have a quota system?
If big corporations and big businesses were playing by the rules and hiring fairly, then I would have no gripe, and neither would Ted Kennedy or any of the other Democrats, and even many Republicans, Wally. Many of George Bush's advisors said, please, Mr. President, sign the bill, because if you don't, we're going to catch a lot of heat. Many of his own people, right-wing conservatives, just like yourself, tried to urge Bush to do it, and Bush denied them. He denied the American people. He is disobeying the United States Constitution and betraying you people out there.
Oh, come on.
George Bush is selling out. The big corporations, Wally, are unfair in their hiring tactics, and this is a federal demand. And once the executive power is signed by George Bush, big businesses would have no choice but to obey or face federal penalties.
I'm telling you this, Hubbell. President Bush is not against any form of job discrimination. He has stated very, very clearly that nobody can be discriminated against, and if so, they're in real deep trouble. If you come in for a job and you are the best qualified and you don't get that job because you happen to be a black or a Mexican or whatever, then that's wrong. But on the other hand, if that minority comes in and he or she is not best qualified, then they shouldn't get the damn job.
I'll tell you right now.
It makes common sense.
Obviously, Wally, this policy of not allowing the quota system is in fact discrimination in its own right. How can you deny a person that comes here from another country that spends lots of money and gets grants and gets these educational opportunities and tries to compete with the American people here and is denied even if he or she has the same exact skills and they're denied the same rights and they work just as hard? Why is Bush and all the right-wing conservatives like yourself trying to keep the poor minority down? You guys are racist, all of you people. I am sick and damn tired of it. I'm warning you. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
Just warning you. Now hold on.
I can't believe it, Wally. I just cannot believe this stuff. You guys have always continually, always neatly packaged everything.
Just hold your stupid mouth for a minute now. Don't you ever hint that I'm racist, or I'll knock every one of those teeth out of your mouth.
Well, I'll tell you right now. I would tell you, George Bush was advised. George Bush is right now. Wait a minute. Hey, George Bush is committing political suicide right now. His abominable handling of the Persian Gulf crisis. He's lost support there. He's losing support here. He was urged.
We're talking about the civil rights bill.
It's another one of the sad stories in Bush's legacy, Wally.
Let me tell you something. Let's talk about this. What about? Hold on, gang. Hold on. What about this, Hubbell? What about a guy or a woman? Hold it. Some people in my audience here, what if they go to high school and college and study very hard? Study and study.
Hey, Wally, they've got to get through kindergarten first, and they haven't even done that.